Hello dear students, how are you all? I will hope you all are fine. I'm Bhupender Verma, your science teacher. So dear students, today we are going to start second part of chapter Our Forest of class 7th Science. So dear students, in this section we discuss about dependence of plant and animals and how the plants play a major role in environment. So let's start this part. First is plants also depend on animals. So how we say that plants depend on animals. Not only plants help animals in their survival, but animals living in a forest also help the plants of the forest to grow. How they happen? ओनली प्लांट्स हेल्प टू एनिमल्स देयर सर्वाइवल. देखिए प्लांट्स सिर्फ एनिमल के सर्वाइवल में हेल्प नहीं करते. वी नो अबाउट दैट हाउ द प्लांट्स हेल्प इन द सर्वाइवल ऑफ एनिमल्स. प्लांट्स प्रोवाइड द फूड फॉर द एनिमल्स एंड ऑल्सो प्लांट्स प्रोवाइड द ऑक्सीजन फॉर द टू द एनिमल फॉर ब्रीदिंग. बट एनिमल्स लिविंग इन अ फॉरेस्ट ऑल्सो हेल्प द प्लांट्स ऑफ द फॉरेस्ट टू ग्रो. जो एनिमल्स हैं फॉरेस्ट में रहते हैं वो भी प्लांट्स को ग्रो करने में हेल्प करते हैं. Some animals such as the butterfly, honeybee, hummingbird, bat and moth helps the flower for pollination. They help in pollination process, that means the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma for the reproduction of flowers to formation of seeds, that is known as pollination. So how they work as that? Because butterfly, honeybee and hummingbird all take the nectar, all take the nectar from the flowers, and when they collect the nectar from the flower, then the pollen grains, the powdery substance of anther, stick over the legs of the insects, and when they move on the next flower, then they are pollinate with the stigma of that flower. That is pollination. Without pollination, flowering plants cannot form seeds and hence cannot reproduce. Without pollination process, plants cannot form seeds and cannot reproduce. So, is it clear to everyone how the animals help the flowers for reproduction? Animals also help in dispersal of seeds. How they help in dispersal of seeds? Because some seeds have the spikes, that means kantedar spikes, and they stick over the body of animals. When the animals move the longer distance, then they carried out with the animals. So I hope this is also clear how the animal help to dispersal of seeds. Animal exerta and their dead bodies add the nutrient to the soil. Animal exerta, like animal urine and animal waste of stool, create the nutrients for the soil. They act as manure and provide minerals for the plant growth. They act as manure and provide the minerals for plant growth. वो एक खाद की तरह काम करते हैं और प्लांट के ग्रोथ में हेल्प करते हैं और उसे मिनरल प्रोवाइड करवाते हैं. The living organisms that make up the biotic components of an environment can be divided into three groups. The living organisms that make up of a biotic component and environment can be divided into three groups depending upon how they obtain their food. So these three groups are generally producers, consumers and decomposers. Let us understand. What are producers? The plants which make their own food themselves with the help of photosynthesis process in presence of carbon dioxide, water and sunlight are known as producers. And producers, why they are called producers? Because they are the primary link of food chain. They provide the food to the all over the animals or world. Some organisms depend directly or indirectly on the food prepared by plants. How is happened? Suppose trees. The deer is depend on trees and the lion is depend on deer. So they are deer is directly depend on plants for food, but lion is indirectly depend on plants for food. And we know that consumers, the organism that consume the food for others from others, are known as consumers. So heterotrophs are known as consumer because they consume the food as a food of plants. All animals including human beings are consumers. All animals including human beings are consumers. So let us discuss the type of consumers. Herbivores, the organisms that eat only the plants as a food, are known as herbivores. They are called primary consumer. They are called primary consumer. And the carnivores, such as a tiger, wolf, eat the flesh of other animals. That means they eat the flesh of other animals and they are indirectly depend on plants. So they are called secondary consumers. Next is top carnivores. They are called tertiary consumers and they depend on other carnivores for food, like scavengers. Human are omnivores. They consume both plants and animals. The bear and the crow are also omnivores that eat uh, plants as a food as well as animal as a food. Some animals help in the keeping our environment clean and they consume the dead body and decompose of them are called scavengers. So what are the scavenger animals? They eat the dead and decaying body. And some bacteria and fungi also present in our environment. They decompose. They cannot seen by naked eye, but they eat the animal's dead body and clean the environment. So they are known as decomposer. They decompose the body of organisms. Okay, students, I hope you have to clear up to here. Next is the nutrients that producers or green plants absorb from the soil are passed on the all consumers. The nutrients that are the producers or green plants absorb to the soil are passed to the all consumers because plants store these nutrients as a food and the herbivores get the nutrients from a food and the carnivores who eat the herbivores their nutrients passed into it. When the producer or consumer dies, bacteria and fungi act as a breakdown or decompose the material of the dead body into nutrient substance it was made up of. Okay, beta, listen. If the producers or consumer dead, then the bacteria and fungi act and break down their bodies and decompose the material again, and these nutrients are again mixed with the soil, and plants get these nutrients again. So this is a cyclic process. Thus, the decomposers serve the very useful purpose of the maintaining the balance of nutrient in the soil. Which organism help in the balance the nutrient, maintaining the balance of nutrient in the soil? The decomposer help in the maintaining the balance of nutrient by returning the nutrient into the soil. That means nature recycles the nutrients. This is very important since the total amount of these nutrients does not change. So what we then taken away must be put back to the life cycle to continue. Mushrooms, which are also a fungi but are not microscopic in size, it is also decomposer. Mushroom we eat as a vegetable, so it also grow on a dead and decaying matter. So they consume the dead and decaying matter for growth. Next is food chain. You all are familiar with the food chain in your class 6th. What is a food chain? The interdependence of one organism on another organism for food is known as food chain. The interdependence of one organism on another organism for food is known as food chain. A grasshopper, for example, a grasshopper eats a green plant, and the frog eats the grasshopper, and the frog is eaten by snake, and the snake is eaten by eagle. This is a kind of food chain. What's your food chain here? See, frog eat the plants. Frog eat the plants and grasshopper eats the green plant. So green plant is eaten by grasshopper and the grasshopper is eaten by frog and frog is eaten by snake and snake is eaten by eagle. This is a kind of food chain. The chain of events mentioned above, it is just example of many food chains existing in nature. Who eats that? What is the environment makes the food chain? The different levels in the food chain are called trophic levels. The different chains in food chain are called trophic levels. Total basically 4 trophic levels present in nature. See here, the grass is eaten by deer and deer is eaten by lion. So this is producers, this is primary consumer and this is secondary consumer and they make the food chain. The study of the food chain shows us the interdependence of various organisms in the environment. Interdependence of various organisms in the environment. A typical food chain is grassland is typical food chain of grassland is grass is eaten by deer and deer is eaten by lion. A typical food chain is pond. Algae, that means a green pigment which present over the water surface, eaten by small fish and small fish is eaten by large fish. So these are some example of food chain. Now we understand the flow of energy in food chain. We know that sun is the ultimate source of energy. Sun is the ultimate source of energy because we initially get the energy from sun. The plants store the sun energy or solar energy as a food, and we get the food from plants, and carnivores get the food from us. So green plant are producer able to harness this energy to the sun to make a food, and they harness the 1% of solar energy. The green plants harness the 1% of solar energy, but in food chain they transfer the 10% energy according to 10% law. For this 1% energy, they transfer the 10% of this energy. In the food chain, energy from plants, say producer, is passed from one organism to another. From the producers, the energy goes to primary consumers, that is herbivores, and then it is passed to the secondary consumer. That is carnivores. Thus, the producers are always at the beginning of the food chain. Producers are beginning of every food chain. And the role of the decomposer comes when the plants and animals die. So decomposer are the last connection in food chain. See this example here. Plants get the energy from sun, and grasshopper get the energy from grass, and eagle get the energy from grasshopper because eagles eat them. Then all things get die. Then decomposer decompose its energy. Energy source, producers, primary consumer, secondary consumer. When all three, primary, secondary and tertiary consumer dead, then they decompose. Decomposer decompose finally them. You and your food eat every day from the part of food chain. Next is food web. The interlink connection of the different food chain in between them is known as food web. The interdependence of different food chain and interlinked connection of food chain is known as food web, the network of food chains. This is a food web. Now try to understand food web. This is a grass. Grass is eaten by grasshopper, and grasshopper is by sparrow, and sparrow is eaten by snake, and snake is eaten by peacock, and peacock is eaten by fox. And here the grasshopper is also eaten by frog, frog is eaten by snake, and they are interlinked here. These food chains are interlinked here. Now another link, these combined food chains are also interlinked with the owl, and this is here connected. So this interdependence and complex network of food chain is called food web. I hope students you know about food web, and you also studied about food web in class 6th. Thus, we have several food chains in nature that are connected to each other and form a web similar to one made by a spider. And the food web show the many animals and the interconnected by the different paths show the typical food web in nature. I hope students you have to understand this section of the chapter. Thank you and have a nice day. Stay home, stay safe.